Good morning. I'm so glad to see all of you. You don't know how glad we are to see all of you here on this beautiful day. I'm so glad. Credit to you who didn't fall for the media hysteria that seems to be increasingly prevalent in our fine city whenever a storm of any kind rolls through. Don't get me started on that. But at any rate, I'm so glad you're here, and it's great to have you here. And welcome to those of you online. Probably a greater number than we might have otherwise expected, but welcome to you. We love you and glad you are here. It's a beautiful day here at Mile High Church. And let's see, Erica and I are just fresh back from Brazil, another of our annual pilgrimages to the Healing Center of John of God, a great place of spiritual depth, and took a group of about 36 Mile Highers down there with us, and really a spectacular time, very moving, and it always tends to reverberate in all of us who experience this for a number of months before it even becomes partially clear as to what's been going on within us. But anyway, it's a rich and wonderful thing, and so, by the way, in a couple of months, Erica and I will probably have a little introduction event to tell you about this, and see, maybe some of you would like to accompany us in the next year. At any rate, we all down there in Brazil gathered around a TV that they had down there, and we watched last Sunday's youth service. And wasn't that spectacular? Just spectacular. Credit Reverend Barry for his incredible leadership and his wonderful leadership team that creates probably the most spectacular youth ministry anywhere. And those kids really shone, didn't they? I just loved it. Saw my youngest granddaughter standing up here doing the announcements. So clear, so powerful. That was great. And my oldest granddaughter singing. And it was just great to see all the kids that I love just growing up here at Mile High and discovering the light in them and the beauty and the power. And isn't it great that they get sent out in the world with that energy and that conviction, that resilience? It's a great thing. So if you don't have your kids involved in all the great programs around here, get them in there. It'll be a great gift to them. So glad you're here today. Let's talk today about how to become a champion dream squasher. Now, I want to talk frankly with you today about a critical element of our lives. Now, ours has been called the dreaming species. One of our most unique and our greatest characteristics is our ability to imagine what could be, and then to build up our lives individually and collectively upon the powerful seeds of our dreams. Now, this inclination to dreaming, it's built into every one of us. Every one of us. And it seems to me that life seems to constantly bring us to a critical crossroads, a spiritual crossroads. It's the choice to either be a dream builder or a dream squasher. A dream squasher. And this is a recurring choice. We choose most every day what will be, and the nature of our choices writes the story of our lives. Now, there are those who have made a habit in their life of taking the route or the path of least risk, least demand, least possible trouble. Now, this is the dedicated path of a bona fide dream squasher. Now, it occurs to me that we ought to understand the traits and the skill sets of dream squashers so that we can either become a champion dream squasher or perhaps make a different choice. All right, so let's get down to brass tacks. To a dream squasher, dreams are highly overrated. Highly overrated. I mean, come on. There are those who tout their dreams, prize their dreams. Sure, but who are they kidding? Dreams, they set us up for trouble. They're nuisances. Dreams set us up for change. Yeah, they can upset the apple cart in our lives. And they can set us up for disappointment, for ridicule, even humiliation if you let them. Yeah, they can. So it's better to stay safe. Resign yourself to the status quo if you're going to be a dream squasher, because for a dream squasher, playing it safe is the way of life. It's the name of the game. And to get even more specific about that, I want to offer you seven of the key skill sets and the key traits of a bona fide dream squasher. All right, so the number one thing that a dream squasher does is don't start. And if you do start, expect immediate results. Now, this is a great way to squash a dream because, you see, if you don't start, dreams don't go anywhere. So you can hold the dream, but you don't start. But if you should happen to take some steps and get some momentum going on a dream, you can eventually squash it by just setting yourself up to say, if I don't get quick results, I'm out. And if you don't get those results, then you can just bail out and no harm done. See, so that's a very powerful step. If you're going to be a dream squasher, is just don't start your dreams or get out if you don't get results really quick. Because we are, after all, an immediate gratification society, aren't we? So, we got to get that immediate gratification or out we go. And by the way, if you should see some weirdo out there persevering on their dream, well, you got to cut them down, and you got to sow seeds of doubt in their lives, or lest they triumph and ruin it for everybody else who's trying to be a good dream squasher, all right? So that's the first step. Now, the second step for a bona fide dream squasher is to absolutely take always the easiest route. All right, now, this is deciding that you will always take the most expedient and the easiest route if a dream is to ever unfold. Now, since dreams almost always challenge us, and they most always have their spells when they're difficult, then what you get to do as a dream squasher when that happens is then you get to bail out again. You just get to give up and cut your losses. And it tends to work pretty well. So that's skill set number 2. Now, number 3 for a dream squasher, this is a good one. Keep and use a running blame list. All right. Now, you've got to have a very thorough, growing blame list if you're going to be a dream squasher. Absolutely. Because, there are setbacks in any dream. Now, if you let yourself be taught by those, if you let your setbacks teach you, you're apt to dream more. So here's what you do instead, if you're a dream squasher. Find a good scapegoat. You got to find a good scapegoat, and then you'll be cool. Then you can blame it all on that person or that experience, and the dream dies and all is well. And then you go around telling everybody about who done you wrong. Tell that story over and over and over from your wonderful blame list. Now, the fifth thing to do, and this is a very powerful thing, is listen mostly to experts. I think I'm on number 4, aren't I? Well, whatever. Listen mostly to experts. You see, as a dream squasher, you've come to believe that other people have your answers and that you're not well enough equipped with guidance. So as a dream squasher, you want to hesitate to trust your instincts or your intuition, for goodness sakes. Don't do any of that, because that just might send you down a novel path. That might empower you with your own certain generic and organic confidence. And that's just going to propel you into the dangerous territory of dreams being fulfilled. So as a dream squasher, you don't want to go there. And the good news about this one is that there's so many experts out there. So many advice givers. So many of them. You won't have any trouble finding any of them. Because, the definition of an expert, X means former, and spurt is a drip under pressure. So, there's so many who fit the description out there. They're everywhere. It's like when Robert Fulton finished building his steamboat. You know what they were yelling from the banks of the river? It'll never start. Well, then it started. And then they started yelling, well, it'll never go anywhere. Well, then it left the dock. You know what they yelled then? It'll never stop. And you see, they're experts always who've got an opinion about everything. And a good dream squasher listens to them and lets them have power in their lives. So always remember that one. Now, the fifth one. This is actually the fifth one. And this is a good one. Criticize and despise any dreamer that's getting results. Now, you got to do this. You got to do this because, there's always some show-offs out there. There's always show-offs getting some results. And so you can't let them get to you. You can't let them get to you. You can't let them get some momentum. So criticize them and spread some gossip and stuff about them. And what you'll be doing is joining an ever-growing society of individuals who make it their biggest pursuit in life to gossip about people. Or anybody whose life is working or who's playing big, to cut them down. Nitpick, cut them down. And so your tribe awaits. There's a huge tribe out there. If your choice is to be the dream squasher, there's a whole tribe of folks who just thrive on putting down and gossiping. And it's a very effective way to squash one's own dreams because you're too busy dealing with all the faults in all those folks around you. Now, number 6, a dream squasher must avoid everything or anything that would empower, encourage, or uplift. Now, this is very important. Do not take that class. Do not, after services, go to the event center on the east end of the lobby and sign up for Beyond Limits, which you can still join in session number 2, Tuesday night. Do not do that. Do not learn the spiritual tools that could transform your life and give you the wherewithal to build your dreams and to heal the past. Don't do that. And don't read inspiring books, whatever they might be. This Life is Joy. Don't read that stuff. No. And do not pray affirmatively. Oh my God, don't. And do not meditate. Do not do visioning. Do not do these things. As a bona fide dream squasher, you've got to remain in crisis. All right? Avoid that at all costs. Now, number 7, and this is the granddaddy of them all. As a dream squasher, make the fulfillment of your dreams your source. You see, you got to decide that you're going to be unhappy and unfulfilled until you reach a destination within your dream. You got to decide that, yeah, you may be weird enough to have a dream, but you're going to be miserable all the way until you get to that dream because you've decided that your dream's your source. Your dream is going to make you happy. But that's going to sabotage your dream successfully because nothing that you can accomplish can make you happy, really. It's an inside job. Nothing that you can accomplish or attract or manifest in your life is going to really make you fulfilled. And so if you set your dream up for that, then your dream is going to be demolished by that. Now, these are very powerful steps for becoming a dream squasher, don't you think? Yeah. Powerful unless you're ready for a richer life. And if you're ready for a richer life, there's another choice. It's to, first of all, be mindful of these things that we can all lapse into that squash dreams. But more than anything, you can choose to be a dream builder. You could be a dream builder like this guy whose picture is up on the screen. By the way, this other screen is still digging out of the snow. But you can be a dream squasher or a dream builder like Christopher Curtis. Let me tell you about him. For 13 years, Christopher worked in Flint, Michigan in an automobile plant hanging doors on Buicks. And it was a job that he hated. He hated the work. But what he really loved to do was to write. He loved writing. And he says, I wrote on my breaks. Time went fast and I stopped dwelling on what I hated. Well, then his wife finally convinced Christopher to take a full year off to write. And so he did that. He took the risk. He went on the skinny branches and took that risk. And at first he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to proceed. So he set himself up in the children's portion of a nearby library. He didn't have a computer to start writing on, so he used legal yellow pads. And he started writing. But actually, at first, he looked around himself and was kind of intimidated. He said, I had no idea what to do. I'd sit surrounded by books. And I thought, if all these others can write, why can't I? Why can't I? And so the result of this was in 1995, he finished a book called The Watsons Go to Birmingham, 1963. It was widely praised. And then a few years later, he released another young adult novel called Bud, Not Buddy. And it was about a young man, an orphan, seeking out his father. And this won multiple awards. The 2000 Newbery Medal, it was the very first ever given to an African-American man. And he won the Coretta Scott King Author Award, and he's written many other books since. And now, aspiring authors will come to him and ask him for tips as to how he did it. And he writes, they want a magical tip, but writing is like anything else. The more you do it, the better you get. You have to be patient and nurture your dream. You have to grow, live, be exposed. Lack of money is a very real barrier, but it can be broken. If you are really passionate, do it for the sake of love. Plow right through. Plow right through. You could be a dream builder like Chris. You could be a dream builder like a lady named Mary Crow. Back in the mid-1900s, she grew up in Appalachia. She had nothing. Her family had very, very little. One day, as she was growing up, she was scrubbing her father's overalls on a washboard, and a vision came to her. And she decided she was going to college. Now, she could barely even say the word at that point, and none of her family had ever even graduated from high school. But she decided. She had this vision, you see, of brick buildings covered with ivy on a campus. And she was going to college. And she shared that dream with others and with her family, and virtually everybody laughed at her. They laughed at her and said, nobody in our family's ever done that, and you'll be lucky if you get beyond the 8th grade. But she persevered. She persevered. And she won a full-ride scholarship to a college. She dived into college. She worked every part-time job she could to survive, and she graduated. But at one point, she looked around herself and she said, these are brick buildings with ivy covering them. My vision of 12 years earlier. And it was unfolding in the midst of it. Now, when Mary graduated, she wanted to go into insurance sales. But in the 1950s, this was unheard of. In fact, it was held to be inappropriate for a woman to try to do something like that. But she pressed on. And she was rejected by virtually every company until finally, one insurance company said, all right, we'll give you a desk and a phone, but that's it. We're not going to give you any secretarial support or anything else. See what you can do. It wasn't long that she became their star salesperson and maintained that for year after year until eventually Mary Crow created her own insurance company that thrived. And then later on, she would take her career toward assisting women in realizing that they really could overcome any and all social barriers. And I just love what this wonderful being who claimed her dream, what she writes. She said, okay, any person who has a dream, who believes in a possibility and is willing to work for it devotedly, can attain it. Any person, any one of us, if we will. That's our future. And I love what Eleanor Roosevelt said. The future belongs to those who can know the beauty of their dreams, who know the beauty of their dreams. Today, I really invite you to be a dream builder. Make a deep choice to shift out of any and all of those strategies that sabotage us and fulfill that possibility that you're designed for, to be a dream builder. And I want to leave you with some of the steps you can use to do that high and holy work. It is to tantalize, crystallize, spiritualize, and actualize. I call it new eyes for building dreams, and I love these steps. Try these things on. First of all, be willing to tantalize yourself. Be willing to tantalize yourself by imagining boldly what could be for you, by exploring what can be, by searching your heart and finding the deepest yearnings, the deepest callings, the things that thrill you the absolute most in your life. And seize upon these. Seize upon these, no matter what voices are shouting at you or internal voices are telling you it can't be, you're not good enough, or what, you're not trained enough, or it's too late, or it's too early, or whatever the case may be. Still tantalize yourself. Be willing to imagine the possibilities that are available for you in your heart of hearts. Ask that question. And then when you have tantalized yourself, galvanize these yearnings that you discover as you crystallize them. Crystallize them into a definite dream. And then what you do is you plant that dream in mind. And you practice believing it wholeheartedly. Now, when I say practice believing it, I mean that. Because we are all so deeply programmed in certain directions that when we want to establish a new believing in a dream that matters to us, we have to understand that there will be internal resistance to it. If we're naive to this, that's just another way we can squash the dream. So we must practice believing with our heart of hearts, feeling the feelings that we will have in the fulfillment and the ultimate manifestation. Taking this in, putting it on, rehearsing it internally, believing it fully until our first instinct becomes believing it. It's no longer something to be practiced. That's crystallizing the dream. And then the next thing we do is we spiritualize the dream. We realize that the dream is really an expression of our highest spirit, of our evolving self. And so I invite you with your dreams to bring them into your heart and to recognize that they really are flowing from your deepest guidance, especially if they're your deepest yearning. And so you don't set the dream up as something that has the capacity to make you happy or to fulfill you. You realize that this dream is an expression of your wholeness as a being. It's an expression of your joy. It's an expression of your creative instinct in this life. And by all means, when you choose your dream, when you crystallize that dream, make sure that it is primarily a dream of being and doing, and that the having will take care of itself. The having is secondary, such that then your dreams are about your higher expression, your being and your doing. And if you take care of that, the outcome will take care of itself. The having will take care of itself. Spiritualize that dream. And then finally, actualize your dream. Now, this is living the vision. This is being the dream. This is realizing that in mind, it's a done deal. You've believed it. It's created in mind and is unfolding in your life. And so you actually actualize it. You live it. You walk it. You breathe it. You are it. I've always loved what Garrison Keillor, who is the creator of on NPR of Prairie Home Companion. He just announced he's retiring from that shortly. But he's an author and a humorist. And in 1970, he started writing for the New Yorker magazine. But I love what he said. He said, actually, I've written for the New Yorker since I was in high school, though they weren't aware of it at the time. You see, he had claimed that a long time ago. And he started living his dream. He actualized it long before he manifested it. We must all do that. Actualize your dream in the now. And then it will lead you to its fulfillment in the perfect time. So what you get to do is take those daily congruent steps as you are owning your dream. A lot of people are hanging around waiting for their dreams to come true. But the truth of it is that your dreams are waiting for you to come true. I invite you to a new choice. I invite you to choose to move out of any elements whatsoever of squashing dreams and to become the God-intended dream builder you're designed to be. A creative outlet for the divine. So when life challenges you with the question, are you a squasher or a builder? You'll find the answer, the best answer, in your heart, a dream builder. I love what Edward Gibbons wrote about this student in college who had braces on both of his legs and he walked awkwardly on crutches. And yet, even though he wasn't a particularly handsome guy, he was the most popular guy in the whole college. People loved him. He was friendly. People loved him. He got the best of grades. And finally, one of his fellow students said, "What happened to your legs? What caused this?" And he replied, "Infantile paralysis." And the other student said, "Well, then how is it that you can have such great dreams? And how is it that you can be so friendly and so confident in this life?" And the young man said, "It's because the disease never got to my heart." Don't let the disease of fear get into your heart. Be a dream builder. Step forward. Listen to your heart. Go for it. Will it require vigilance, learning along the way, perseverance? Yes. But you can do that. And as you do that, you grow, and you realize you're living out the magnificence, or what the poet called the imprisoned splendor within you. And it is such a beautiful thing. I close with the wonderful words of James Allen: dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. Congratulations, dream builders.